So I've seen quite a few questions come in as to how much backing you should put on your reel. Now you really only need enough to, grip the spool. That's what the backing's for, because with braided line it's very slick, it's very thin, and if you put it directly onto your spool, it's going to freely spin on there. So that's why you want to use backing. And the backing will also help take up any additional space on the spool. Because braid, again, it's very thin and it's not going to completely fill up your spool. So a quick way to determine how much backing you're going to need is to fill up a spool on your spinning reel backwards. So you're basically going to put the braid on first, and then you're going to fill it up with backing, and then you're going to transfer that to another spool. So you're going to need at least 2 of the same spools from the same reel, if not 2 of the same reels of the same size. That way you can transfer it from one to the other, and I'm going to demonstrate that here. So like I said, first you're going to attach your braid to the spool, and the way I'm going to do that, because it's not permanent, is I'm just going to use some Scotch tape. I'm going to use this tape and tape the braid to the spool so it's secure enough that I can start spooling that line on there. So you don't need a big piece, you don't want to take up any additional space on the spool that you don't need to. And we'll just tape that right on there, like so. So as you can see, the braid is taped onto the spool, ready to be spooled up. And I'm going to put that spool on the spinning rod, and then you're just going to start spooling up as you normally would. And make sure you keep enough tension on the line, because if it's too loose and then you go to put it on your other reel very tight, you're going to have a gap. You're going to basically not have the spool as full as you would like. So let's go ahead and spool this one up. Now you don't need an entire 300-yard spool of braided line on your fishing reels, unless of course it's a tarpon reel or something like that. So once you have about what you feel is about 100 to 150 yards of line, then you can cut the line, attach your backing, and then fill up the rest of the spool with that backing. So I'm going to keep going a little bit more here. And also sometimes if you're just using a 150-yard spool, that's plenty of line, and you can put that entire spool on a 3,000 to 4,000 size reel. So once that entire spool is empty, then you can attach your backing. So we're almost done here. Do a little bit more. That should be pretty good. The spool is just about half to 3/4 of the way full with braid, which is plenty. So we'll go ahead and tie on our backing, and then we'll fill the rest up with the backing. All right, so now our backing is attached to our braid, and we're just simply going to fill the rest of the spool up with the backing. All right, so as you can see, that spool is full. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this spool off of here, and I'm going to put the empty one on the reel, and then put this line now back onto this spool, and it should be full. All right, so now we have the first spool that I used to attach the braid to first with the backing on the end, and now we're just transferring it over to our other reel. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, now all the backing is on the spool, and now we're putting on the braid directly from the other spool. And at the end, it should be filled up nicely. All right, so there you can see the spool is completely full now. The backing's on there, the braid is on there, and there's not a big gap in the line. So again, simple way to determine how much backing you need to put on your fishing reels. It could be a spinning reel, conventional reel, bait caster, whatever the case may be. But just remember, you do have to have 2 of the same spools if you can find them, if not 2 of the same reels. That way you can transfer the line over from one to the other. Again, filling it up first with the braid and then the backing to completely fill the spool, and then transferring it over to your other reel. So hopefully this tip can help you out. So if you have any questions about this or any additional tips you would like to share, definitely let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out our Salt Strong Insider Club, where we guarantee you'll start catching more fish in less time. So definitely be sure to check that out. Till next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.